Welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. May you live your truth. Good morning. This is Dr. Erin, Dr. Divinity in the heart of La La Land, bringing fun to the shift. So today's topic is you are perfectly imperfect. So the other day I was actually in the studio and we were taking questions for Dr. Erin Show, and a mother reached out to me. And she said that she needs some help of how to handle her two daughters. She said one of her daughters was larger than normal. She said, quote, quote, basically one of her daughter has gained quite a bit of weight. And the other daughter is, quote, quote, normal, she said. And meaning that she is a, normal weight according to her. And she was struggling because at meals, she was trying to kind of control her one daughter who has gained weight, her intake of food and what she was eating. And her other daughter, she was feeding her things like pasta. And there was this big kind of like, I guess you could say like a pink elephant in the room, as they say. Like it was getting awkward. She doesn't know how to handle it. And so we dove deep into what was truly going on. And, first of all, I want to disclose that I am not a traditional Western doctor, and I highly recommend going to see a specialist when it comes to anyone that's gaining weight, because there may be other issues going on, biologically and chemistry-wise and hormonal-wise and all kinds of things. But we're not talking about that today. We're going to talk about spiritually what's going on. And the reality is this for that mom, that this has nothing to do with her daughters, that always life is a projection of what's truly going on for us. And so I know that this is very common. I've heard this story more than once from parents that have two kids and how to handle food, because they each have different relationships with food. And it can be, there can be other topics like, toys or lifestyle or friends or whatever. So it doesn't matter if the children are dealing with food or whatever it is, that I believe as a parent spiritually, there is always one thing going on in the heart of the matter with the parent. And it is really the opportunity to love both the children unconditionally. Because as a child, say, for example, begins to gain weight, there's a lot of stigmas culturally. We want to make them wrong. We want to think, how do we fix and help them? And we know some of the pain of different things like that. And for this mother, the true opportunity for her is to unconditionally love both of her children the same. And, sometimes we'll have junk food in the house, and then we try and control our children of what they're eating, how they're eating it, when they're eating it, and all that stuff. And the reality is that we're in this together. That I think when a family truly gets, whether you're a traditional family, not, there's no such thing as a traditional family anymore. No matter the situation of your home life, no matter the situation of anyone's weight, we know that it is so much more. It's emotional, it's hormonal, it's all the above. And as a parent, we have to obviously get help, reach out to a doctor to make sure there's not something more going on. But we have to learn how to love unconditionally and realize that we're in this together. So for this mom, as soon as I said, this has nothing to do with your daughters. This has everything to do with you and learning to love yourself unconditionally and learning to love your girls unconditionally. That little girl who's gaining weight wants to be loved unconditionally. She doesn't want to feel like something's wrong with her and she's different. That's the human condition. We all feel like we're different. We all feel like something's wrong with us. We all feel like we're not enough. And as I said that, she kind of like, you should see her eyes. They kind of like welled up and she went, oh my God, you're right. And so I invited her, to go home and take a look at what is in those cupboards in the kitchen. And if there's anything in those cupboards that is not loving to the body, not supporting total health for her entire family. Because just because you're skinny doesn't mean that you should put crap in your body. And she said, yeah, you know what? This is a whole lifestyle change. And so I invite each and every one of us to take a look at that. Where are we not loving ourselves? Because whether you are, dealing with something like gaining weight or not, or depression or anything, it doesn't matter, because what we put in our body affects our lives. And if we truly loved ourselves unconditionally and loved ourselves like a parent to ourselves, we would want to feed ourselves loving food that nurtures our body and helps us thrive and helps us grow. And so she went home and she began to feed both of her daughters the same and just put healthy foods out. And she realized that it's not about the food. There's something more going on for her daughter. And the best thing she can do is just love her and get her the help that is needed, the support system, and see what's going on. But number one, we know that whatever we resist persists. So if we want to change a child and control their eating habits, guess what? It's just going to energize it and make it wrong. And the child most likely is going to just become eating in secrecy and doing things. And it's probably going to make the whole situation worse. So on that note, I know that today's a day to realize that we are all perfectly imperfect. And that number one, we have to start with loving what is and go from there and beginning to change after we realize that we love unconditionally. And so today's universal law that we align with is the law of perfection. At a spiritual level, there is only perfection. There is divine order to the cosmos and a harmonic progression within every cause and effect. We're here to awaken. That's all we're here to do, you guys. Life is unfolding perfectly. You are whole and complete exactly as you are. Perfect God, perfect person, perfect being. The reality is that you're not your body. You are not your body. That little girl is not her body. She is a spiritual being. She is having divine symptoms that's saying you're not living in alignment with your truth and Mother Nature and universal laws. That this is the opportunity to listen to what's going on. Because we have obesity in this culture, huge obesity, huge health issues around food. We have huge food addiction, you guys. But guess what? It's not that little girl's fault. We did this as a culture. We created food that is so addictive. How can you not be addicted to junk food? It's in our face everywhere. This is natural. And so on that, I know that we have a new day to practice. So today's daily spiritual practice is practice unconditional self-love today. Boldly, unconditionally love yourself. That's your practice. Try doing that for a whole day. Try not beating yourself up. Try just loving yourself exactly as you are. Without addictions, however it is, love yourself exactly as you are, no matter your size, no matter your income, no matter your relationship status. Love yourself unconditionally today. And then today's challenge, because we're in this game of life, is to throw out all food that doesn't support a healthy, loving family and life. It's a challenge. You don't have to do it. You totally don't have to do it. But I challenge you to. It's a fun challenge. Go get your garbage can out. Pull it out. Open the doors on your cupboards and just throw out everything you know that just doesn't serve anymore. It's a challenge, and you may be able to do it. You may not be able to do it, and you don't have to do it. It's just a challenge. That's all, a fun challenge. So today, the topic is you are perfectly imperfect. You are perfect. I love you exactly what you are. I remember the day I began to love myself unconditionally. I actually walked into my bathroom. I will never forget it. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I began to critique myself. And I'd been doing this my entire life. No matter what was going on in my life, when I walked in the mirror, I would find something wrong. And I stopped and I said, oh my gosh, I've got to stop doing this. And right there and there, I made an agreement, a promise. I actually remember writing down on my mirror. It was called The Promise, and I had kind of some affirmations with it. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I have to be my own best friend. And if I can't look at myself in the mirror and be my own best friend and support myself and believe in myself, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to survive in this life. There's no way. So on that note, you guys, If you found value or you feel like somebody could benefit from this conversation, please forward this to them. You can direct them, just look up Erin Fall Haskell or Dr. Erin on iTunes Radio, Google Plus. You can find me on iHeartRadio. You can also get my free app. You can, show them how to get the app again on iTunes and all those places with 30 guided meditations. And please like, share, and comment. Give a good review on one of the platforms for me. That'd be awesome. You can join our community. You can go to erinfallhaskell.com. You can find me on Facebook. I have a private group on there called Awakening. You can find me at all kinds of things. You can find the interviews at the drerinshow.com. You can go to drerin.tv and get all the freebies. Sign up for all of our free 11-minute podcasts every day. You can get all that fun stuff and more. You guys have a divine day. Big hugs.